Hello, everyone. Gabby here.
And I'm Brenna.
And this is the Mystery of Everything podcast. So, on today's episode, it's a little bit different. I just decided to talk about mosquitoes. So, we're going full send with mosquito lore. So, if you've ever been outside, minding your business, living your life, enjoying the fresh air, and the person you're with won't shut up about the mosquitoes.
Gabby.
Meanwhile, I'm just saying, I know it's a direct call out to you and Steve.
Literally, they eat me alive. You are so rude.
Meanwhile, you haven't noticed any mosquitoes because while your friend is getting eaten alive, you've just been mosquito free, living life, enjoying the outdoors. Well, that's quite literally me in every scenario. I mean, Brenna, Steve, they're constantly being feasted on by mosquitoes. Literally, Steven goes outside and he's just like, ow, ow, ow. I'm like, please, I haven't even seen one. Meanwhile, he's like a feast, a good old Taco Bell serving platter for the mosquitoes.
What's it like to be God's favorite?
It's pretty great. I actually enjoy every second of it. I'm just outside knowing that I am the last resort of these mosquitoes. So why is this? Well, today I decided to do a little deep dive on what makes everyone I know so tasty to mosquitoes and what makes me their last resort meal, which honestly kind of stings because I'm not even, the mosquitoes' favorite. They don't even want me.
So you have been bitten though.
Oh yeah. The thing is they will bite me, but if
they'll
there's someone
just go to Steve or me first if we're around.
Absolutely. Yep.
Makes sense. And ticks. Apparently ticks really love me. We figured that out the hard way.
Yeah. I got 0 ticks the entire weekend. We were camping and Brenna and Steve were getting them. So
no, like they were under my titties every day. Like how did they get up there? How did I find them under my tits every single day?
They climbed. It was The Climb by Miley Cyrus.
It's the climb. I was thinking that too. Now I can picture a tick singing it. Crawling up my leg.
That's disturbing.
Sorry. Go ahead. Mosquitoes.
So I think everyone on Earth knows that what a mosquito is, with only 2 places on Earth being actually mosquito free. So
I didn't know that's a thing. There are places without mosquitoes. What?
Yeah. So the 2 places are the continent of Antarctica and the country of Iceland. So the harsh climate of Antarctica, it makes it so that mosquitoes can't survive very easily. And while Iceland does have some greenery available with seasonal temperatures that would allow for them to have mosquitoes and other insects, it's way too harsh for mosquitoes as even if they were able to make the flight all the way to, Iceland, they would not be able to lay their eggs. There's not a lot of proper areas for them to actually lay their eggs.
That makes sense because mosquitoes go away in the wintertime. So that adds up.
Yeah. So by the time, they get there, they won't be able to maintain any sort of a healthy population. So if you're trying to avoid mosquitoes and all of their diseases, pack your bags and, move there. Move there right now before you get some sort of disease.
Well, now you got me thinking, where do mosquitoes go in the winter?
I'm pretty sure they die off. So I remember my dog got heartworm when I was in college, and it was because typically it gets so cold that it freezes all of the standing water, right? So their eggs don't survive. But then it wasn't a really cold winter, so there was a lot of standing water because it would freeze, thaw, freeze, thaw. So there were just a lot more mosquitoes than usual. And so the vet was like, yeah, so you have to be extra careful about mosquitoes and heartworm. And I don't know, my dog got heartworm that year. So give your dog heartworm medication because it's super expensive and dangerous to treat it sometimes, depending on the dog. But yeah. So we can't talk about mosquitoes without mentioning fun mosquito facts. So adult mosquitoes, they live for a relatively short time, typically 2 to 4 weeks, depending on what species it is, depending on the species, the humidity, and the temperature. So with female mosquitoes, aka the biting ones, they live longer than males.
Wait. So only if you get bit, it is by a female?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So female mosquitoes are the ones that bite, and that's due to them needing a blood meal in order to produce their eggs. So through these bites, mosquitoes, they get infected with germs like the viruses and parasites that they then spread to others, and they have the ability to start outbreaks in many communities. So I was supposed to attach a diagram of a mosquito and I forgot, but just picture a little mosquito and then I'll attach a diagram. But it
Okay.
shows you,
Well,
all
you
of the
all will
little,
still see the diagram, but I have to imagine it, which is fine.
you, Vanna, they eat you every day. I'm sure you can.
Oh, duh. I know what they look like. Duh.
So back to solving the mystery of mosquito madness. Studies have been carried out on what makes some people more attractive to mosquitoes than others. And these are being performed with the hopes of understanding what makes them bite. So maybe we can find ways to keep them away from everyone. So due to the fact that mosquitoes, they carry a lot of deadly and harmful diseases, a lot of people have been spending a lot of time. Can you hear my dog?
No.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
A lot of people have been spending a lot of time trying to figure out exactly how they can prevent mosquito bites, because avoiding their bite is way more than avoiding, just that itchy skin reaction. In some countries, mosquitoes kill a large amount of people every year by spreading deadly viral infections, which while I was writing this episode, I realized when I'm going to Peru, I needed to get like malaria and yellow fever vaccines. And my doctor was like, yeah, you should definitely get it, even if you're going to be there for a short time. So just
Yeah.
a reminder. So back in 2022, results of a study done by doctors Maria Elena de Obaldia and Leslie Voss Hall, who both work at Rockefeller University and Howard Hughes Medical Institute, performed a study to identify skin compounds that attract the Aedes aegypti, which are the mosquitoes that typically spread the viruses that cause dengue, yellow fever, and Zika virus. So, quick side note to learn more about these illnesses, which I genuinely think is important because a lot of them are big concerns in a lot of parts of the world, including the country that I'm from, which is Trinidad. So, first up, we have dengue fever. Dengue, it's a viral infection. It's super common in tropical and subtropical climates. And growing up, it was a, decent concern because on tropical islands, it's something that people would typically be afraid of. Many people who get it, they don't get symptoms, but for those who do, the illness is really, really intense. And for the very severe cases, a lot of the really severe ones, hospitalization is required and people can die from it actually. So typically people who get dengue for the second time though, they are the ones at a higher risk of a severe infection.
So once you get it, can you transmit it to other people, or is that, or I guess
No,
just through blood?
Yeah. So
Okay.
the mosquitoes typically do it.
Yeah.
And so with yellow fever, it's caused by the yellow fever virus. So just like with dengue, most people who actually get it, they have mild illness, if any illness at all. But those who do get sick, they get like the typical fevers, chills, headaches, body aches, and about like, it lasts, it starts about 3 to 6 days after they get bitten by the mosquito. And around 12% of people who have symptoms, they go on to develop more serious illnesses like jaundice or bleeding, shock, organ failure, and sometimes death. So yellow fever is found in certain parts of South America as well as Africa. So, as I said before, if you're traveling, make sure to check the vaccine list. And finally, we have Zika. So Zika virus is transmitted by the same Aedes aegypti mosquitoes that bite mostly during the day. So just like those two previous illnesses, most people with Zika, they don't develop serious illness or symptoms. But those who do, they get rashes, fevers, conjunctivitis, muscle and joint pain, malaise, headaches. And Zika is different, though, from the previous two. And the key difference is infection during pregnancy can lead to infants that are born with microcephaly and other congenital malformations. And it can also cause preterm birth or miscarriages. So yeah, it's pretty bad. So the big risk with Zika is typically pregnancy. So if you travel somewhere that there's a known risk for Zika and you come back to the US, if you were going to do like IVF or IUI, the doctors typically won't do it until a certain period of time has passed.
Just to make sure.
Yeah, because when we were trying for Joya and we had to do like fertility stuff, they were like, okay, make sure you're not traveling to XYZ areas. So they take it very seriously because microcephaly is a condition where a baby's head is much smaller than expected, which can be caused because a baby's brain didn't develop properly or it stopped growing after birth. So in 2016, Zika-related microcephaly actually became a public health emergency, and it was an international concern.
Damn.
Luckily, they managed it, though. So by the end of 2016, they ended that health emergency. However, they still take a lot of precautions to avoid the spread of it.
As they should.
Yep.
Sounds terrifying.
It's not ideal. It is not ideal. So anyway, back to the episode. Why are mosquitoes selective? Well, only female mosquitoes bite people, and these are drawn to certain temperatures of human skin or to certain chemicals on skin.
So if my skin just runs hotter than others, then like what if my internal body temperature averages slightly higher than other people? Does that mean they'll come to me more often?
No, but they would definitely be able to sense that you're alive
Oh.
and you're a human. So once you're in the expected ranges of a human, they will land on you.
When you say human, like, do mosquitoes probably suck the blood of like dogs and other shit too, right?
They do, but they do prefer like humans. Like they do sense humans more.
They hunt us.
And I get into why later on, but it's completely speculation on why they're so attracted to humans.
I don't like that they single humans out. That bugs me.
Well, it's because and I mentioned it later too, what do humans have around them? A lot of standing water typically. We settle near bodies of water because it's easy access, or we keep standing still bodies of water near us. So they know that if they sense humans, they have the meal and somewhere to lay their eggs in one shot.
Oh, that is so cool.
So
I mean, that's sucky, but cool.
So the study mentioned earlier, done by those two professionals, they had 64 volunteers that wore nylon sleeves on their arms in order to collect data on the ability of each person to attract mosquitoes. So the attractiveness of each volunteer, it varied greatly, with the most attractive volunteer being 4 times more attractive than the next most attractive volunteer, and over 100 times more attractive than the 2 least attractive people.
What?
Yeah, so when they like someone, they like someone.
I don't like that. They love me. They love me so much.
Yeah. And so the study, they broke this down to mosquitoes using 4 types of molecules as co-receptors to help detect odors. So even when the researchers removed 3 of the 4 co-receptors, the mosquitoes lost the general interest in human odors. However, they could still distinguish between the most and the least attractive people. So the 3 co-receptors that were removed, they dealt with the sensing of acidic compounds on human skin, and utilizing mass spectrometry, they found that carboxylic acids, which are a type of fatty acid, they were heavily present on the skins of the volunteers that mosquitoes were drawn to. So
does that mean the fatter you are, the more they like you?
No. There's a lot of things that affect carboxylic acid concentrations in skin. The interesting thing about this is that the level of attractiveness to mosquitoes of individuals in follow-up studies, it stayed the same for years. It didn't matter if the person changed lifestyle habits or had normal changes that could potentially alter a chemical composition on skin. If someone was attractive to mosquitoes once, they remained attractive to them. And this is due to each person's skin maintaining a relatively constant amount of carboxylic acids even over long periods of time. However, this specific study, it ended up finding that while high levels of carboxylic acids were associated with attractiveness to bugs, they couldn't definitively show that they were the driving force for mosquito preference. So there's other things that we're going to get into.
This confuses me. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm confused. So our skin produces carboxylic acid.
Yes. Well, my next thing is I'm going to go into that in this next little.
Okay, it varies from person to person. Do we know what causes the variations?
Yes, I'm going to get into that.
Okay, sorry guys, I'm jumping the gun.
So what causes these high levels of carboxylic acids? First off, they are produced in the sebum of humans. So sebum is the natural oily substance that's secreted and produced by our sebaceous glands.
Does that mean who sweats more?
Kind of.
I sweat a lot.
It can be impacted by people who work out more, who drink more alcohol, who are pregnant. So,
and another thing, and again, if I'm jumping ahead, just be like, Brenna, shut up. But can we change this about ourselves? So let's say I change my diet, I change my exercise, I change all these different things. Does that mean that my carboxylic acid stuff will change, and then perhaps that my mosquito attractiveness would change, or no?
No, because each person kind of keeps it relatively constant. So it's just your biology, how much is produced. Because
Damn.
over long periods of time, no matter like what was occurring with people, they kept their attractiveness to mosquitoes.
Okay.
So first off, carboxylic acids are produced in the sebum of humans, and sebum is that natural oily substance that's secreted by our sebaceous glands. So the sebaceous glands are in the middle layers of our skin, and the sebum is used to protect and hydrate our skin, and it mixes with lipids, and it forms a protective barrier on our skin. Also, super cool fun fact that I thought it was super cool. The face, scalp, and chest have the highest concentrations of sebaceous glands, and each area of skin may have up to 900 of these glands per square centimeter.
I don't like that. I don't know why, but I don't like it.
So the interesting thing about humans and carboxylic acid is that we produce much higher levels than most animals.
Aha.
Yeah. So it's led researchers to speculate, and I really want to emphasize that this is not 100% what they've proven as fact. It's speculation. So researcher Marie Elena de Obaldia, the senior scientist and lead author of this study, she has speculated that these mosquitoes may have evolved to prey on humans because humans tend to keep easy breeding grounds nearby. And, we're typically around open standing waters of containers of water where open near. Yep. So, and this is what mosquitoes need to lay their eggs. So due to this, these mosquitoes may have started recognizing the smell of humans due to the differences in carboxylic acids between us and most animals, which means that mosquitoes may be more attracted to higher concentrations of carboxylic acids because they know for a fact that they have found a human. So something to keep in mind. So now that we know that carboxylic acid may be a factor in making someone super attractive to mosquitoes, what else is there? So
blood type, no.
I did look for blood type, and with ticks and stuff, there is some studies that are like, yeah, if you're AB negative or B positive, you may be more. But those are like
I'd
really,
be positive that ticks really love me. I'm sorry. I'm O positive. That's the more common one, right? O negative is the more rare.
Oh, that makes sense. You and Steve kind of had the same blood type with the ticks and stuff. So.
I'm O positive. Raven is O negative, which is super cool.
Yeah, I'm AB negative. So I'm the rarest of the 8 common blood type. It's like
that is super cool.
And I'm black, so it makes it even more rare because it's a small percentage in larger Caucasian populations, and then even less for Asians and black. So look at me being special.
Look at you, girl. Who's that girl? It's Gabby.
Hey. Ow. I raised my arm and I got a shot today for my trip, and it hurts so bad.
Every time I laugh, I'm coughing. So I'm sorry, guys. I still am down with the sickness.
It's okay. I'll mute you. I'll mute all your little. So temperature also plays a part. Back in the 1950s, researchers placed water-filled steel tanks that were dressed up and shaped like humans in a forest. They then monitored the tanks to see how many times mosquitoes landed on them in different conditions. And what they found is that more mosquitoes went to the water tanks that were heated to the normal body temperature of a human. And they also noticed that mosquitoes landed on tanks that released carbon dioxide or that were soaked in human sweat. So they really
like us.
They love us.
Evolution has caused them to just want humans.
Yeah. Well, we made it easy for them.
If we ever get taken out, it's by mosquitoes.
Probably. Well, they
or
wouldn't
it's
take
by
us
our
out,
own
though.
government taking away our farmland. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. We're going to switch it up now to the discussion of Idaho. I'm just kidding. We're not. I don't think I'm allowed to. Yes, Gab, mosquitoes.
So one neuroscientist from Boston University, Meg Younger, she said, our skin is covered in bacteria that emit volatiles that vary from person to person. And this difference in odor between people accounts for the difference between the attraction of mosquitoes to different people. So this was said in reference to the fact that mosquitoes detect chemicals on our skin using olfactory receptors in their antennal olfactory receptor neurons. And I know you're probably thinking, Gabby, what the fuck does that mean? Well,
Yeah.
let me explain. An article published in Cell illustrated a very complex olfactory system in mosquitoes that enables them to sense humans. It's interesting because not very many people place an emphasis on mosquitoes even having a sense of smell. But according to Leslie Voshall, truth is every neuron that interprets smell is redundant in such a way that makes the mosquito olfactory system unbreakable. So typically in most organisms, the brain processes smell in a 1-to-1-to-1 system. So according to Rockefeller.edu, this means that each olfactory neuron expresses one odor receptor that communicates with one glomerulus, which is a cluster of like nerve endings. And this 1-to-1-to-1 system has been the widely accepted belief of olfactory systems in insects, because many insect species have almost the same number of olfactory receptors as glomeruli. For example, fruit flies have 60 receptors, 55 glomeruli. Honeybees have 180 receptors and 160 glomeruli. And, the list goes on and on. So it's almost like a 1-to-1. So, I mean, it was a safe assumption to make. I would have made the same one. But this 1-to-1-to-1 system, even though it has existed across the board in many different organisms, including humans, people were just like assuming, yeah, that's what it is for everything. Like, that's just the design of it. But Meg Younger, that neuroscientist from before, she made a shocking discovery when working on one of her studies. So instead of the 1 neuron to 1 receptor ratio, she found evidence of individual odor neurons having multiple different receptors. So this wasn't a clear-cut olfactory system that we're used to seeing. The mosquito system, it basically worked with almost every cell expressing everything. So these findings were then confirmed because they were able to measure the brain activity of mosquitoes, which showed that they were indeed detecting multiple odor molecules. So the assumptions made based on this are that mosquitoes need blood in order to reproduce. So they may have evolved this olfactory system in order to ensure that they can smell out a food source in almost any scenario, which makes sense. Like they're driven to stay alive as much as they possibly can. So in this instance, mosquitoes may not be able to smell a variety of things. They can't stop and smell the roses because they're completely overwhelmed by their ability to just sniff out the blood or sniff out the compounds on people's skins. So remember how earlier I talked about them removing co-receptors, but mosquitoes were still able to find the most attractive humans? Well, this whole messy, jumbled olfactory system would explain that. Basically, they know one thing and one thing only, and that one thing is find a food source. But this information of mosquito olfactory system, it also puts us one step closer to finding out different ways in which we could potentially stop them from going after us. Hopefully, one day. Also, interestingly enough, the belief that every organism had a 1-to-1-to-1 ratio going has become slightly unraveled by this one study, because another study found that fruit flies may also have the same jumbled olfactory system. So it will definitely be interesting to see how many more organisms actually don't smell in the way we thought they did. And I'm really excited to see that, because I love it when science is like, okay, so we thought this, but we got this new information, so now we have to review everything.
So question, bug spray.
Yes.
That's my question.
Use it. It works.
But how?
Because if they're using a sense of smell, right, to track your carboxylic acid and everything, to sense out, then they're going to have this overpowering.
We're covering our scent. That's all.
Yeah. It's just going to be like an overpowering scent that they don't like necessarily.
So they won't recognize us as this is human.
Or if they do recognize us, they don't want to smell that gross citronella smell.
They don't want to taste it.
Smoke. We use smoke a lot to keep bugs away. In Trinidad, we just light a fire and make it smoke.
And that works. It works good.
Because it messes with them. They don't want anything to do with it.
I don't understand why mosquitoes even, just like why. What do you
Why?
serve? What evolutionary purpose do you serve?
To
What evolutionary purpose do you serve?
make me feel better than everyone.
Gav.
So now we know how they can find us using their insane sense of smell. What factors affect their ability to detect? Well, conditions such as pregnancy, infection with malaria parasites, diet, genetics, workout, alcohol consumption, all of these things can alter a human's body temperature, as well as emissions of carbon dioxide, ammonia, and lactic acid. And it may make some people a very tasty platter for mosquitoes.
So if you're like a heavy breather, you're fucked. All that carbon dioxide. Almost a monoxide, but no, we would be dead.
In addition, they did this really neat study that took blood from twins just to see how much genetics play a part in attractiveness to mosquitoes. And they found that most mosquitoes were, quote, similarly attracted to compounds taken from identical twins compared to fraternal twins.
Okay, so that is super cool. So it actually does have something to do with our insides.
Yep.
And if you're just born that way, then you're fucked and there's no way to change it.
Probably. Just use the bug spray religiously. Also, different species of mosquitoes have different preferences for attractive odors, and I thought that was cool. So we've talked about Aedes aegypti being attracted to carbon dioxide, ammonia, and lactic acid. But another species, Diculex quinquefasciatus, prefers ethylene glycol and heptana in addition to carbon dioxide.
All right, that is insane.
Right? They just have like different tastes in what they go after.
Like humans. I wonder if like pheromones and shit, like how humans can be attracted to each other's pheromones, and then some people are more attracted to certain smells and yada, yada, yada. That's like that with mosquitoes, except, well, no, that would be more of a food relationship, like how we think food smells good, not how we think people smells good. Mosquitoes don't want to have sex with us.
Luckily, because could you imagine?
A new scientific discovery.
Also, I know you asked yesterday on the previous podcast whether they would feed off of dead things. Well, yeah,
I did.
anything that's like emitting carbon dioxide. So, as it decomposes, it's going to be letting off carbon dioxide. So it'll still go feed on that. If there's nothing else, it does, it's going towards those compounds and it's going towards carbon dioxide. It's going towards temperature. So if it fits the bill and it's not 100% like a human. So if you had like ribs, a hot dog, and some like mushy porridge, you'd go towards the one you're most attractive to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense. But then you would eat the others to keep from starving.
Yeah. Like I'm their last resort meal. I'm their, oh God, there's nothing else here.
I feel like their last resort meal would be the dead body on the ground.
I don't know. How much of the compounds?
You'd be second.
How much of the compounds? Also, how soon was it dead? Is the temperature okay? I run cold. Maybe they'd be like, this dead corpse is best. We don't know. We got to try it. We'll do a study, Bren. So all of this is here to say, if mosquitoes love you, they're always going to love you. And there's nothing you can do about it. And how comforting it is to know that you will always be a mosquito's number one choice. So if you're feeling alone out there and you get eaten alive by mosquitoes, keep your chin up. Mosquitoes will literally die without you. You're valuable and amazing. Until winter
when they disappear. And then you're alone. And it's just you and nobody wants you.
God damn. That went darker than I meant it to be.
I kid. I want you. There will always be someone on the internet that wants you. Predators.
And so, Jesus.
I'm sorry. I'm kidding. The internet is full of predators.
I thought you said creditors, and I'm like, damn, girl.
That too. Fucking, you're never alone. Debt collectors. My medical bills all the time. And I'm just like, leave me alone. If I wanted to pay, I would.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
But before we go, I will leave you with 10 mosquito fun facts from the Bay County, Michigan website.
Ooh.
So an adult mosquito can live as long as 5 months. It may take several months for a larva to develop to the adult stage in cold water. So eggs of floodwater mosquitoes may remain dormant for several years.
Holy
and they'll
shit.
hatch. Yeah, so they'll hatch when they're covered with water. An adult female mosquito weighs only about 1/15,000th ounce, so about 2.0 milligrams. An adult female mosquito consumes about 5 millionths of a liter of blood in a single meal. A mosquito's wings beat from 300 to 600 times per second.
Whoa. All right, that
male
one's pretty
mosquitoes-
cool.
Right? Male mosquitoes find female mosquitoes by listening to the sound of their wings beating. So the males can
Aw.
actually identify the correct species by the pitch of the female's wing. And mosquitoes can fly about 1 to 1.5 miles per hour. Most mosquitoes do not fly very far from their larval habitat, but the salt marsh mosquito migrates 75 to 100 miles over the course of its life.
Damn.
They're travelers. A mosquito can smell the carbon dioxide you exhale from about 60 to 75 feet away.
That is terrifying.
They're coming for you. Some people are more attractive to mosquitoes than others, but it probably has something to do with the 300 odd chemicals produced by the skin. And in the interest of science, Arctic researchers uncovered their chests, arms, and legs and reported as many as 9,000 mosquito bites per person per minute. At this rate, an unprotected human would lose 1/2 of his or her blood supply in approximately 2 hours.
What the fuck?
So that's all I have for you guys today. Hope you learned something cool. I definitely did.
You know, this one was fun, terrifying, but fun and very disheartening if you're someone like moi who can get bit by a mosquito like 47 times within stepping outside for 3 minutes.
They love you. Embrace
love
the
me.
fact that you're providing a good service. Without you, they would die. And if they didn't have anything to eat, you'd be a little bit sad because no one would be like, ugh, what's the most annoying thing? Mosquitoes. They might say something
Then they'd
else.
be like, ugh, Bruna.
I was going to make that joke, but I didn't want to burn you like that.
I burned myself. No, younger Bruna. I've always hated mosquitoes. Fuck them. I don't kill animals often at all. When I was younger, I'm not going to say it, but the flea story, I might have said it before. We're not, I can tell Gab about it later. You all will be like, Brenda, that's fucking weird. And it is weird. I felt bad for all kinds of animals. Okay, I'll just say it. I used to feel bad for animals. So if like a flea jumped on me, then I would just like let it suck my blood when I was younger. The fuck? What the fuck, Brenda? Not ticks though. Ticks give me the heebie-jeebs, but fleas, they're literally just like, they're just chilling. Yeah, I don't live in a house with fleas now, so that's not an issue, but and I do kill them now. This was like 6 or 7-year-old Brenna. Yeah, so sorry
how do you
guys.
find fleas in your house? Like,
Oh, it's not. It's not a good thing. We used to have inside outside animals, and yeah, our basement there for a little while when I was young was infested with fleas. It's like a concrete basement, but you could be wearing white socks because the washer and dryer was downstairs. But you could wear white socks and walk downstairs, and your socks would be like checkered patterned from all the fucking fleas that would jump onto your socks waiting to attack you.
that's disturbing.
No, it wasn't ideal. We didn't have them upstairs. They were just downstairs. But yeah, not fun.
But I did find out, and I don't know how true this is for ticks, because I was looking into ticks too. This was supposed to be mosquitoes and ticks, but then I didn't want it to be like too niche for everyone, because I feel like people are gonna be like, Gabby, what the fuck is that?
No,
But-
I think they like the weird.
In 2019, a study from the Czech Republic found that ticks are most attracted to people with type A blood, followed by O and AB, and they're least attracted to type B blood. But ticks aren't repelled by other like blood types, you know?
Okay. So I'm
Also
second on
sweat.
that list.
They also go after sweat, body heat, exhaled carbon dioxide. Basically, if you're attractive to mosquitoes, you're probably attractive to ticks.
And this,
So-
again, does not help me and Steve out because me and Steve, we're sweaty. We're sweaty little guys. In comparison to Gab, we sweat more than Gab.
I'm darker, so I'm sure like I'm literally from the tropics. I think I'm just made to be a lot warmer than
Your
you guys.
heat tolerance is a lot better than me and Steve. Bless our hearts.
Because we were out there and I was like, oh, this isn't the worst. And y'all were like,
We were dying. Steve can hang a lot better than I can. Like I was 0 out of 10 would not recommend. I was fucking miserable, which it also like doesn't help that I'm out of shape too. But no, I was dying. I got, is it sun? Yeah, I got sun poisoning on my neck. It was not fun. And right now I have poison ivy on my neck. I think I'm not going to tell you all what it's in the shape of. I sent Gabby pictures of it though.
It's not ideal. Like if she got a tattoo in the shape of her poison ivy, not only would she be canceled, but she would be shunned from society.
And it
Think
really
about it.
does like look like it in the picture. I sent Gabby the pictures. Like if it scars like this, I'll have to get a neck tat to cover it up, or people will be like, "Ooh, she's
I'm just.
something that I'm not going to say."
How did you get poison ivy? Like selectively just on the neck?
And in this shape, too. Like I have no idea. I have
Did
no
you
idea
just-
how this happened. I must have like touched poison ivy and scratched myself. It's right over my thyroid, guys. If you all know
Are you
where your
sure?
thyroids are. I don't know.
Are you sure it's poison ivy?
No, I've never had poison ivy like this before. So it could be oak, it could be sumac. I'm not really sure. I don't really know what's going on. If I'm being honest. I don't think it's thyroid related. I do think it's like some kind of skin irritation that I've touched something and then touched myself.
Don't say touched yourself.
After I said it, I was like, are you going to comment on how weird that was, Brenna? Or are you just going to let it happen? And we'll just let it happen. We're going to end the episode with, when I think about you, I touch myself.
So glad this is a patron exclusive. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Oh,
Hope you
guys
didn't hate
love
this.
You all support Brenna's weird, and I support you for supporting me.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
Talk to you soon. Love ya.